A Butler County man faces federal child pornography charges. It stems from an international sting on a secret part of the internet.
And the Night on Your Side I-team has learned that a judge is now deciding if the government should turn over the controversial recipe the FBI used to catch the suspect.
I-team investigator Hillary Lake explains how that could impact other similar child pornography cases.
Beyond the World Wide Web, where you probably get your social media fix, lies a secret part of the internet.
The initial intent of the dark web to anonymize the traffic and help protect the people who are making that communication.
Now a Fairfield man who the FBI has accused of accessing child pornography on the dark web is launching a defense to challenge the tactics investigators used to arrest him.
This hacking tool was probably not developed for the FBI or law enforcement. More likely, it's some sort of national security agency.
The I-team has learned the outcome of Richard Stamper's case could affect dozens of other child porn arrests stemming from the same international cyber sting.
If I were a prosecutor in this case, I would make an argument that all the goods, in this case the source code of this malware, just isn't necessary to a defense.
Federal agents arrested Stamper and 4 other men from southern Ohio between 2015 and 2017 during Operation Pacifier for possessing child pornography. It resulted in 900 arrests worldwide. UC law professor Donald Castor tells the I-team it's one of the most controversial government stings in U.S. history.
It's the first time anybody knows of that the government operated a child pornography website. They did it for 2 weeks, and in that sense, it's shocking.
The Playpen is believed to be the world's largest child pornography website with more than 150,000 users. That is until its creator, Stephen Chase, who's now serving a 30-year prison sentence, slipped up and revealed the site's unique IP address. The FBI got a tip and secretly took the website over in early 2015. Colin Feeman is a federal public defender who's handled several of the cases.
I think probably the most troubling aspect of this whole thing is how the FBI went about collecting the identities of people who were signing into what was the Playpen website.
A federal magistrate signed a search warrant allowing the FBI to run the Playpen and used secret spyware called a network investigative technique to learn the identities of website users who normally surf the dark web anonymously.
The government has to state with some particularness what it is that's going to be searched and seized. Well, the government had no idea whose computers they were going to install the malware on, so there's an argument that the warrant lacked particularity.
Paulo Shakarian is a cyber expert and professor at Arizona State University. He's hesitant to talk about the ethics of the FBI's operation.
Setting up these type of honeypots makes sense from a technical perspective, and here's why. You're dealing with people that are purposely trying to hide their traffic.
Stamper's defense team wants a federal judge in Southwest Ohio to force the FBI to turn over its secret hacking code to them. Something this federal defender tells the I-team is the only way to ensure a fair trial.
It is very hard to mount an effective defense when the government has access to all the information that's relevant to the case and the defendants do not. It's simply not a level playing field.
Stamper's attorney wrote in a motion to the court about the malware the FBI secretly installed on Stamper's computer, quote, "The NIT undoubtedly malfunctioned and got the MAC address and operating system wrong, or worse yet, crossed wires with the hundreds of computers it was infecting and associated another user's computer with Mr. Stamper." Federal prosecutors say Stamper, who was convicted in Butler County of raping a child under age 13 in 2003, compromised his own computer by installing a virtual machine that allowed him to navigate the dark web under his own cloak of secrecy. They believe telling Stamper's defense team how the FBI ran Operation Pacifier would compromise future investigations.
In a typical drug sting operation, the government will send an undercover officer or a confidential informant to go buy drugs from someone, which isn't legal either. So sometimes to catch bad guys, you've got to do things that would otherwise be criminal in order to get into their world.
It's possible if Stamper's team wins in court, the government will decide to protect the code and drop the child porn charges against him. Ultimately, Professor Castor says Stamper's case puts a spotlight on the Fourth Amendment, which affects all of us.
The court has interpreted that for many, many years to say that when the government runs afoul of that, the evidence that they collect as a result isn't going to be permitted to be used in a criminal trial. And that doesn't protect just the child pornographer, as distasteful as it is to want to protect child pornographers. It protects everyone who could find themselves under the eyes of the government.
Richard Stamper is currently in jail. He faces one charge each of possessing and receiving child pornography from the Playpen website. His trial is set to begin March 26th, but the judge could decide whether the government is forced to turn over that FBI malware to Stamper's defense team within a few weeks. Hillary Lake, 9 on your side.
Hillary worked on that story with WCPO reporter Paula Christian. If you go to WCPO.com right now, you can read more about the 4 other local men who also face child pornography cases stemming from this controversial sting.